If you want a healthy, easy, and filling breakfast meal, an omelet is a great choice. I'll be making a Western omelet today, which is filled with vegetables and meat. You will need 2 frying pans, 3 eggs, shredded cheese, a green pepper, a red pepper, an onion, a fork and a knife, a bowl, a stick of butter, and ham. Begin with 2 slices of ham and thinly slice them in one direction. Then cut them in the other direction to make small cubes. To cut up your bell pepper, begin by cutting off the top, then cut off the bottom, make a small slit down the side, and core out the inside. Then slice it up into small slices going one direction. You can cut it as thin or as thick as you want, depending on how big you want your fillings to be. Dice up your peppers by cutting them the other direction, and we should end up with about a 1/4 cup of peppers. Do the same with your red pepper by cutting off the top and then cutting off the bottom, then making a small slice down the side and coring out the inside. Once again, we're looking for about a 1/4 cup of peppers, but it's your preference, so feel free to do a little bit less or a little bit more depending on how you want your omelet to be cooked. Once again, cut them perpendicularly to dice them up into small pieces. Next, for your onion, you're going to want to start by cutting off the top and the bottom, probably a little bit more than I did here. Then cut your onion down the center and peel off the skin. Put your onion on its side, and we're going to cut it similarly to how we cut the peppers. Cut one direction first, then perpendicular the other direction to get small pieces. I'm cutting up half the onion here, but we're only going to use about a 1/4 cup, just like the peppers. Now that our fillings are all cut up, we're going to heat up our small pan and coat it with butter. We're going to add our fillings to the pan to saute them so they become nice and soft to put inside the omelet. Leave the pan just below medium heat so they can saute slowly while we prepare our eggs. Crack all 3 of your eggs into your bowl, but be careful not to drop any of the shells in. And don't forget that you'll want to wash your hands after handling raw eggs. I always add a dash of water to my eggs to add a little bit of fluff to my omelet. Some people like to use milk though. I find that using a fork over a traditional whisk works better to beat your eggs. Once you've heated up your bigger frying pan and coated it with butter, you can pour your eggs on top of the pan. You'll notice there are some clear patches on the omelet where you can see the bottom of the pan. Once these spots fill in, you'll notice that your omelet is almost fully cooked. If there's still wet spots of egg on top of your omelet, you can lift the corners, lean the pan, and drop it to the bottom for it to cook. Next, flip your omelet. This may take some practice, but it's surprisingly easier than you'd think. Now that your omelet is done cooking, we're going to load one side with cheese. Feel free to put as much or as little as you want, but I find that the more cheese, the better. Your filling should be done sauteing if you timed it out right, and you should be able to tell by checking if the onions are translucent. I'm going to load the other side with the fillings by pouring them directly on. As you'll see, this is a pretty big meal, so feel free to save half for later, share it with someone else, or eat it all if you're a big enough eater. I like to turn down the heat, place the lid on top, and let it sit for a minute just to melt the cheese a little bit more. Once the cheese is melted to your satisfaction, you can remove the lid and fold your omelet down the center. Feel free to cook it a little bit longer if you'd like it more crispy. You can flip it back and forth to either side if you'd like. Finally, pour your omelet onto your plate and add whatever toppings you'd like. Personally, I like to put salt, pepper, and drizzle sriracha sauce over the top. And there you have it, your perfect Western omelet. Thanks for watching and enjoy.